leftovers, or the DMV,
Number 97.
or house cleaning, or Chumba Casino always brings the fun. Play over 100 different games online for free from anywhere. You could redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. Live the Chumba life. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hi, I'm David Eagleman. I have a new podcast called Inner Cosmos on iHeart. I'm going to explore the relationship between our brains and our experiences by tackling unusual questions like, can we create new senses for humans? So join me weekly to uncover how your brain steers your behavior, your perception, and your reality. Listen to Inner Cosmos with David Eagleman on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Back in 1999, a young woman from South Carolina vanished. 7 years passed. She was presumed dead. Then, a tip came in.
He said, I think I found your girl, and she's alive. She's in New York. And I said, really?
The detective on the case, he didn't buy it. He came to believe that he was dealing with an imposter. Who was this woman, really? Listen to Deep Cover on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is the Jabberjaw Podcast Network.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode. But I was about to say another episode. But this is not just another episode of 100 Words or Less. This is our Best of 2017 show. And for those of you that just dive into this one, thanks. Thanks for coming. Maybe you should check out some of the other shows that that I put up, some 50-odd weeks of the year. Or if not, that's fine. You can just dive into this and enjoy it. But basically what we do on this show is special. And I have my good friends Joey Cahill of 613 on Records and Jeremy Bolm of Touche Amore. And we go through our top 10 records of the year. And it's always really fun because we've been doing this as friends for, forever. We're actually trying to put together a reflective list where we dive back into some of our old lists and, either agree with them still or make fun of them because they're so of the moment. But anyways, that's what we do. And I'm very excited about this episode. So, I just wanted to shout out to those of you who I met up in Canada this past week, playing some shows up there. And it was awesome because many of these people who I had met weren't familiar with my band at all. And it's awesome that they would actually take the extra step, go to the show, support this, and be like, hey, your band's pretty good. I was like, wow, thank you. Like, you just came because you like this podcast. So that's really, really humbling, and I appreciate that. I also will be dropping a bonus episode here in about 2 weeks, I want to say, basically right around the holidays, in which it's van talk. Let me put it that way. It's where I recorded some, insightful conversations that had on the road with my fellow bandmates in Taken, and it was really fun. And so that'll happen in a couple weeks. And I don't want to talk too much here, okay? Because these episodes are always really, really long, and so I hope you enjoy them. And them, like there's multiple. I hope you enjoy it. Is that better? Okay, that's more specific. So, and I'll take the opportunity here to thank you. Thank you so much for listening to this show. It gives me life. It gives me a lot of reasons to speak to people who I respect their art, and I'm so glad that many of you find value out of this as well. It doesn't matter how many people download this particular show, although it's way more than I originally anticipated. And it's just, it's just an amazing outlet, and I can't thank you enough for the support. I just wish I could digitally high-five all of you. So that's what I'm going to do, right? Digital high-five, everybody. So, here's the list, and enjoy. Hopefully you find some records that you might have missed, right? Because that's the fun part. So here is our discussion. I'll talk to you after the end of the episode.
Imagine how I hate this. Graceless, trying, but I'm going through the glass again. Just come and find me. God loves it.
All right, so we're here doing our awesome stuff like we always do. I self-proclaimed awesome stuff, right?
I think it's awesome.
I think it's the feedback that I get from people is the fact that they're like, hey, like it's really cool to hear, like, you know, there's at least like 30% of the bands that, you know, either myself or you guys mention that people don't know who it is. So people just are like, oh, great, I never heard of this band. And it's like, that's great. Even though we may be like, oh, what do you mean you haven't heard of this band? It's like, oh, yeah, there's a lot of people that have no idea about the random stuff that we bring up.
I have a feeling that my list will be not.
Yeah, that's
Joey's just going to have Taylor Swift 1 through 10.
No. I listened to that first song and went, nope.
I wanted to start like we always do, start off the conversation where we kind of just like, you know, overall opinions of how music listening or music in general has changed for you this past year compared to last year. I don't know if you guys have any hot takes or thoughts on that.
My hot take is I feel like this year kind of sucked. I had a real hard time. I keep a list all year long of like records I enjoy, and I went back to like put my list together, and I'd say at least half of them I haven't listened to since I put them in my phone.
Interesting.
Huh. Interesting.
So it's just like a lot of stuff. I was like, oh, this is really good. I'll consider it. I just never went back to it. So there's some records that were like, this is definitely making my list. And then like I had to fill some spots. And I'm happy with my list and the records I enjoy, but I feel like this was a down year.
Okay. What about you? What about you, Jeremy?
I might be opposite. I enjoyed quite a lot this year, like a lot, more than last year. And like the things that ended up making the list for all, I haven't stopped listening to. Like I kind of like have sifted through but probably overall 15 records, but kind of about 10 to 12 of them are records that like have just continuously come back. So I think that might just be that I didn't have a wide scope, so it just in there.
Yeah, my 10 are the 10 records I listened to this year. Like there's like 3 or 4 more that I listened to a good amount, but like, you know, it was a smaller sample than previous years. Like if someone was like make a top 20, I would just check out and yeah.
I would definitely be able to, but the like 14 through 20 would just not really matter. Like in the sense of like the order wouldn't matter. They'd just be
this record's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would lean more towards with Jeremy than you, Joey. I mean, I do agree with the sentiment of what you were just saying, Jeremy, where it was like, you know, whatever, 14 through 20 could be kind of interchangeable. And I do feel like there's a lot of, you know, records that I didn't put on my list that I was like, oh, like this could have easily been like a random record, like the new Propaganda record. That thing's awesome. I really, really like it. But I just didn't listen to it that much. And I was like, well, I could sort of put this as a, you know, and this can actually lead into another topic I was going to bring up, like the, you know, legacy band that really that we all love because we've, you know, been involved with them since we were like, you know, 14, 15 years old. But like, should that weigh into your opinion? Like, you know, I mean, because clearly it's like Converge released a record, Quicksand released a record. None of those I put in my top 10. And partially because the Quicksand I didn't care for at all. But Converge could have easily made my top 10. But I was like, well, I don't know. I mean, it's another awesome Converge record. Like, way to go. Well, how do you guys kind of weigh that in your heads as you approach those sort of records?
I haven't listened to the Quicksand. I listened to the one Propaganda song. Was like, oh, this song's cool. It sounds like Propaganda. Haven't listened anymore. Like, it's like as I've gotten older, like I've just kind of like I love Propaganda. I don't need another Propaganda record. If I'm going to listen to Propaganda, I'm still just going to listen to the first 3 records. Like I've kind of settled into like what I need from Propaganda. Quicksand, I mean, yeah, I don't think we needed this record from what I've been told.
Sure.
And like, I mean, you know, yeah, like legacy bands, like, I mean, there is a legacy band on my list, but I feel like it's genuinely a top 10 record for me.
Right.
Like previous records have not made my list of theirs where, like, I don't know. Like, yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Jeremy?
I'm just basically just doing the thing where it's like, what have I listened to the most? Like there's a lot of records there's no hardcore records on my list, I don't think. Let me see. Let me double check. Yeah, there's no hardcore records, but there's hardcore records that I enjoyed this year. It's just like I didn't find myself.
I'm in the.
Yeah, it might be. It's funny. I had a conversation with somebody recently about also the Converge record, where it's like, I think the record's cool. I like it a lot, but like, I'm not actively listening to it constantly, like the way maybe I had in the past. And somebody was like, well, maybe that's you. Maybe it's not the band. Maybe it's you. I'm just like, well, maybe it is me. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think that Incendiary record is hands down the best hardcore record of the year.
I would say that too.
2, 3, 4 years ago, it absolutely would have made my list. It doesn't mean like I like it any less.
Sure.
It's just,
Yeah, like it's funny. All the records that were like the off to the side, like didn't make the list are pretty much all aggressive. Like the Power Trip record, the Limp Wrist record, the Incendiary record, the Converge record, like all awesome records.
Yep.
But it's like if I want to be true to myself, like I didn't listen to them daily like a lot of these I did.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's funny too because I found myself also. It seems like there are certain bands stylistically that release similar records and are doing the same things, and they're all good. But then I'm like I don't know what band. Like I ultimately land on what you were talking about, Jeremy, where it's like what's the most that I listen to. But it's like there's a band called Elder, which is like they released a record that record's amazing, but it was like, well, but there's other stuff that is kind of like that I listen to more. And yeah, it just, you have to be sort of, do I want to put like, 3 doom metal records in my, or do I want to put 3 hardcore records? It's like, you kind of have to be, agnostic when it comes to that. You're just like, it can't be just this, I'm
looking at my list, like two of my top 3 are the records, like, what do I want to listen to? I'll just listen to this. Like they were the records I would just, if I didn't have an idea, just continually go back to.
Yeah.
That's kind of what the top 10 is this year, where it's just like, I'm being true. I'm not trying to go for cool guy points. If I wanted to go for cool guy points, I'd have Career Suicide as number 1, but it's like, I liked it. I like all the, like we all probably bought that record and it's a sick record, but like I've spun it once or twice and I said, yep, cool, put it on the shelf and said, now I'm going to listen to this record instead.
Totally. Like I just like today, granted the record just came out last week, but like the new Sect record, that's like the best thing that they've done. And it's like, I always feel not the need, but just like anything that is like, D-beat and dark. I'm like, oh man, I like that has to be a record that I got to listen to a ton. But I was just like, well, it didn't come out at the right time.
Yeah, well, it's funny. We're doing this, and we still have a month left in the year. Spoiler alert for people who are going to hear this probably in like 3 weeks. But it's like, yeah, I haven't got a chance to listen to the Sect record, which could very well have made my list because anything Chris does, I think we all, get a little starry-eyed for. And then also, I'm very curious to hear the Glassjaw record.
That's true. Good point.
Which could very well, been like the, come December 28th, been like, fuck, I wish that made my list.
Well, I've decided I've made a new rule for myself. And if something comes out after this is recorded, it's eligible for the next year.
I like it. Dude, that's cool. I back the idea.
Like, what if that Glassjaw record is the greatest thing since sliced bread?
Yeah.
Best of 2018, man.
Like, it comes out in December. Essentially 2018, like
it's their fault. Yeah, it's their fault.
It
has nothing. It's their fault that it didn't meet our timeline.
Exactly.
Everyone should base their timeline on us or the assholes.
They had 15 years.
Yeah, and clear the decks as of early December.
Yeah.
If you haven't released your record, you're screwed.
Yeah, totally. Oh man! All right, so should we launch into this?
Exactly. You look at this. It's like you're a professional host, Jeremy. How about?
It's like I did this for a couple of weeks 2 years ago.
Well, hit us with your number 10, man. What do you got?
You want me to go first?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, see, now I'm basing. You know what? I'm just going to say it, then I'll explain why. Father John Misty, pure comedy.
Oh, okay.
I've never given a shit about Father John Misty ever, and not for any particular reason other than just like he seemed like an annoying person, and I have enough of those in my life. And I just I never cared. He seemed egotistical and all those things, but I never gave him a fair shot. And Luke Schwartz, who now plays in Tiger's Jaw, he's like head over heels for him in the way that a lot of the three of us are about certain artists. And he made me like a Spotify playlist and was like, listen to these tracks. Like, this is like a good introduction. And I listened to them constantly. And then, Pure Comedy came out this year. I listened to it a ton, but my favorite song of the year is on this record.
Wow.
It's not called Leaving. It's called Leaving LA. I don't know if you guys give a shit at all about Father John Misty.
You played me that song, and the song's cool. The record's cool.
Yeah. That song is unbelievable, especially being from Los Angeles. Like, it's such a perfect, like snarky response to everything that we are. And if you can't laugh at it being from here, then you should fucking take a long walk off a short pier. But yeah, so because my favorite song of the year is on that record, that's why it gets the number 10. It's not my favorite record of the year, but it's got my favorite song, so that's why it deserves number 10.
Nice. Yeah, I've paid attention to his persona. Obviously, it's hard to avoid that. But yeah, I really haven't given. The stuff I've listened to, I've always enjoyed, but yeah, I haven't dug into the record. But yeah, he's obviously divisive, and that's cool that he inspires people to either hate him or love him, and that's you got to admire people that do that.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know this, but Kyle, who is the older brother of Kevin, who sang in Thriller, he's in that band. He's been playing with them forever, so getting to see him do that is also pretty awesome. Like whenever he plays on TV, but he's been doing this since like Father John Misty really started. He plays keyboard for him. But yeah, whenever they're on TV, I'm like, oh yeah, there's Kyle. That's awesome.
That's rad.
Word. Well, I'm gonna choose here. Ray?
Yeah. How about that?
Ray.
How about that? It's 50-50.
Chance.
50 chance. Yeah. I decided to go no beard on my choice. Yeah.
The number 10 record for me was, and this just snuck in because it was basically between two records. Always, or that's how you say it, right? Always.
I just say always.
Always. Yeah. Whatever. Antisocial.
People actually say, hold on. People actually say always. Those people should be.
It's like people who say it like fresh ver.
That's true. Yeah, or Chiverches.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think I've ever said the band's name out loud. So that's I guess I'm outing myself. But yeah. So always.
I'm going to take credit for that one, Red, because their last record made my list. So you're welcome.
I appreciate that. I mean, they definitely were put on my radar by you, and then this record is just so good. It was one of those things where I think it was released in like, I don't know, April, May, maybe a little bit in the summertime. I can't remember exactly, but great band from Toronto. Just like the catchiest, poppiest stuff. It's not like really that different from all their previous stuff. It's just even more catchier, which I didn't even think that was possible. But it was like between this record or I really like that new Cloud Nothings record, which I never really. I kind of
last year.
The Life Without Sound that came out early. That came out this year.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
I thought it was very end of last year. Damn. Well, that probably would have made my list, but fuck it, I already wrote it down.
There you go. That's cool. Well, yeah, it was basically between those two records for this last spot. Just because I put them in that cool sort of rock / indie world that gets Pitchfork love or whatever. But I just love that record. I just think it was super, super good. So thanks, Joey.
Something tells me Joey and I are. Yeah, something tells me Joey and I might talk about that later.
I love it. Well, Joey, what's your number 10?
Polyvinyl Family to always. JSOM. Everybody Works.
I'm unfamiliar, but they played the same night as us in Atlanta, and I walked in and watched them for a minute. It sounds cool. I haven't checked out the record yet, though.
Yeah,
it's kind
neither
of, it's kind of, to me, kind of all over the place, but there's parts of it that really remind me of Rilo Kiley, and I love Rilo Kiley, so that gets some points. Yeah, I don't remember where she put out a 7-inch on Got Possum that I picked up, and it kind of blew my mind. And then, yeah, this record just, yeah, I think it's better. It's kind of, there's like electronic elements. I mean, it's, indie pop stuff.
Did you mess with that? I mean, I don't know if it's on your list or anything like that. Did you listen to that Girl Pool record?
Only because you told me to.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
It's very reminiscent. To me, a lot of the tracks on that are very reminiscent of like Takeoffs and Landings and stuff like that. So that kind of scratches that itch a little bit for me.
And they were a band that, like, Girl Pool was a band that I just kind of I didn't really enjoy, but you told me to check this record out, and I did, and I do like it. But
the full band really, really sets it apart from their previous stuff. It makes it a lot more enjoyable for me, at least.
I think of polyvinyl like what Saddle Creek was doing in the early 2000s, where it's like polyvinyl is just putting out, like, you could all classify it in the banner of indie rock, and they're just like, they're killing it across all spectrums.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Safe to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, that Jay Some record is great. And it's number 10 because I wouldn't listen to it for a stretch, and I'd be like, oh fuck, that record's really good. And then I'd go back to it and then forget about it and then but it was like, I would eventually always get back to it. So
got it. Yeah.
Nice. What do you got for number 9?
Me?
Yeah.
Joey,
right. The slingshot thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
My number 9 is Bleachers, Gone Now.
Ooh.
Jack Antonoff knows how to write a fucking song. Like,
he's the hit maker. He's the hit maker.
I mean, this record, it's so damn catchy. Like, it's just wild to me that it's the dude from Steel Train. Like, he was never like the number one guy in Fun. And like that singer, who knows? I don't know what he's doing, but like Jack Antonoff's writing songs for Taylor Swift and Lorde and just
killing it.
Pop hits.
But it's like being Lita Dunham's boyfriend, just killing it.
I've heard that's not a thing anymore.
Oh, ooh, hot gossip. TMG.
I've heard rumors.
Got it.
I don't know from where, but yeah, I don't know. It's just a pop record, but for some reason, like, it seems to have like indie cred also. Like, he'll play like, cool indie festivals, but
well, he's also like a real human being. Like, no matter how you look at him, it's just like, oh yeah, he's just a dude that plays music, and he just happens to write really good pop stuff.
But he's also like, I think he's just a punk who like writes pop songs, so he's gonna always have that, like, that side of him, even though he's making top 40.
He'll have the open E chord mosh just always at ready,
waiting.
Yeah.
Did Steel Train have a hardcore side that I don't understand with these jokes?
Yo, but that last Steel Train record is very good.
I'll take your word for it, Joey.
I'm sure you will.
Go for it, dude. You could die on that hill.
Post Drive Through. It was Drive Through stuff sucks, but that last record's very good.
Okay.
But I really enjoy Fun, and this Bleachers record is great. So
yeah, cool.
Boom.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Trust me in saying that therapy is an incredible tool for as you are traveling through life, because who you are as a person, 5 or 10 years ago is maybe a completely different version of yourself, because we run into challenges, whether it's work, whether it's life stuff, relationships, all of those things you can work through with a therapist. And that is why I love BetterHelp and what they do. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online and it's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. All you have to do is fill out a brief questionnaire, and then you get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Discover your potential with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/Ray to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/Ray. Dip in, give therapy a try, and become a better person.
leftovers, or the DMV,
Number 97.
or house cleaning, or Chumba Casino always brings the fun. Play over 100 different games online for free from anywhere. You could redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. Live the Chumba life. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hi, I'm David Eagleman. I have a new podcast called Inner Cosmos on iHeart. I'm a neuroscientist and an author at Stanford University, and I've spent my career exploring the 3-pound universe in our heads. On my new podcast, I'm going to explore the relationship between our brains and our experiences by tackling unusual questions so we can better understand our lives and our realities. Like, does time really run in slow motion when you're in a car accident? Or can we create new senses for humans? Or what does dreaming have to do with the rotation of the planet? So join me weekly to uncover how your brain steers your behavior, your perception, and your reality. Listen to Inner Cosmos with David Eagleman on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Oh boy, our good friends at Texture love this year-end episode, so they wanted to hop on and have me talk to you about how incredible their service is. So this has happened to me many times before, where you're walking around either in the city or mall or whatever. You walk by a magazine, totally catches your eye, and you're like, "Yo, that looks cool." Or like, "Oh wow, I didn't know that this person would do a cover story," or whatever the case may be. And then you wanted to stop and like peek inside, but you either just, "Oh dude, I don't want to pay like $9 for this magazine. I don't subscribe to it. How am I going to read this?" Next time that happens to you, remember Texture. So with the Texture app, not only do you get a peek at the magazine, you get the whole magazine, plus unlimited access to over 200 additional premium titles like Time, The Atlantic, The New Yorker, and Wired. And right now, you can try Texture for free. So just imagine having all of your favorite magazines at your absolute fingertips, and their back issues anytime, anywhere. So you can start your free trial of Texture. Go to texture.com/words. And then if you choose to continue, the listeners of this show will get it for just $10 a month. That's 30% off their normal listed price. There's also a ton of great gift options for those in the holiday spirit, want to give something digital to their loved ones. You can do that. So please go to texture.com/words and you can start your free trial today. That's texture.com/words. Please, this service is unbelievable. I love diving into magazines that I, just let lapse as far as the subscription is concerned, because it's like, there's nothing more frustrating than letting all this stuff stack up on your bedside table and you're just like, oh man, but this, I don't even have to worry about that. Dive in, dive out. It's perfect. So texture.com/words. Enjoy, get smarter, get entertained. That's what Texture does for you. All right, enjoy.
Jeremy, hit it.
My number 9 is this artist you two maybe aren't familiar with. Her name is Julian Baker. And
heard of.
Yeah, the record Turn On the Lights. It's number 9 because it's still fairly new to me, and I haven't. It came out at a time where I was sort of listening to a whole lot of things. I definitely think it's wonderful, and there's songs on it that I can tell are absolutely great. But I think I just haven't spent enough time with it. But I know it's truly special, so that's why it's on the list at number 9.
And I think you meant Turn Out the Lights.
What did I say? Turn On the Lights. See, when you name your record something that close to the Interpol record,
exactly.
Sorry,
turn off the bright lights on.
Yeah, exactly. Turn off whatever it is. It's good, and I mean, though it's like the single on the record, the fucking second song, the Appointment song. Jesus Christ, that thing's outrageous. So yeah, there you go. Julian Baker, number 9.
I'm excited to be able to talk about that record later.
I might be possibly talking about the same record as well.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
then I'm gonna just switch things up. Let's just hear Joey talk more. I don't know.
I didn't do.
Oh no! Just no. Okay, yeah, I'm not supposed to choose them. Yeah,
it's okay.
Okay, sorry, I'm fucking everything up right now.
Don't worry about it. No. My number 9 is a record that came out in January. It is. It was basically tied between my favorite hip hop record of the year. It was either Kendrick Lamar or this record, which is the Joey Badass record, All American Badass, which is all spell. Every S is in dollar signs, which Jeremy, you would just love that immediately. Because
it's very Kid Rock. So let's do it. I mean, the name of the album is very Kid Rock too. So
Ray, I'm going to take credit for this one because his first record made a couple years ago.
Hey, Joey, you're just a tastemaker across the board, man.
I am.
I got keyed into. I mean, I was aware of him. I did not put him on the list with you, Joey, back a couple years ago.
Me, Ray.
You know, I know it's all you. I got clued into him because he randomly hit PETA up to want to work with us, and I was like, oh yeah, and so I was like, oh, check out this dude's mixtape. Oh, cool. But yeah, his record's it's because the Kendrick Lamar record is like heavy, you know, like you listen to it and you're just like, oh, that's an easy listen. It's like, oh, okay, there's a lot of stuff going on here. Whereas this record is a little more easy to kind of dip in and out of. But yeah, I just love. I mean, he has rad cameos or cameos. That's not what you call it. Verses, cameos. Who am I? Some middle-aged white guy talking about rap. Yeah, that's me. But yeah, you know, Schoolboy Q and just, you know, a lot of the cool hip hop dudes. So yeah, I just love this record. Super fun.
I enjoy that record as well. Although I still think there's no song even close to Paper Trail, which might be one of the best hip hop songs in the last 10 years.
It's a great. Yeah.
But I enjoy it as well.
Yeah. And I always like it every time that Joey and I bring up a hip hop record. Jeremy's just like, you're talking Japanese to me. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I mean, I don't actively listen to a lot of new hip hop. Like it sort of, when I hear something that I think is fine, but like that Tribe record last year was definitely what?
You just listen to the classics.
Yeah, of course. But no, yeah, a lot of the modern stuff, it just kind of, it doesn't really stand out to me ever.
This is the first year in a few years I have no hip hop records on my list.
It happens.
Yeah. It's interesting.
You can't listen to that around children, right?
No, we just listen to the Frozen soundtrack and Moana soundtrack.
That's fine.
I wish I liked the I like the Run the Jewels record this year, but it didn't make my list. I like it. I think it's good, but
didn't finish it.
Yeah, it's good, but yeah,
didn't finish it.
No.
Yeah, you said.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Slow down.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. Slow down. You're really trying to hit that wave. My number 8 record, and then I'll choose the next person. You guys were talking about before the Incendiary record. 1,000 Mile Stare.
Congratulations, you're the hardcore kid of the group tonight.
I am. The record is incredible. I mean, I definitely think that they are like the best hardcore band that does that style as of right now. I saw them live for the first time at Sound and Fury this year, and it was just like, I don't know. It just makes me happy that band exists in a total. This is a phrase I like to use: part-time, full-time band. Or full-time, part-time. That's exactly what they are. They're just like, yeah, we'll play like 30 shows a year. You know, we'll fly and play some shows and do that, and people lose their minds everywhere they go, and it's so cool. And they're obviously great human beings as well. For those of you that have you hung out with the Incendiary guys, Jeremy?
I just know the singer a little bit. I'm friends with the other dudes on the internets, but he's super super sweet, and yeah, that record's fucking awesome. I mean, it sounds like it's borderline should be ignorant, but it's so far from ignorant.
Dude, so that's actually the most appropriate, because yeah, there's elements of it where you're just like, ooh, but like, you know where it's coming from, and you're just like, no, it's cool, man.
Yeah, exactly. And also the vocal delivery, like it just rides the cusp of potentially being rap rock, but then it's just not. Yeah, I don't know. It's fucking really good though.
And if you started rapping, I'm all in.
That's true, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's though you can, it's clear to hear like the Rage Against the Machine in it, but you could also be like, yeah, like this was why people like the Warriors, but back in the early 2000s, or like, you know, like it's very reminiscent of that style. But I mean, you can hear the Long Island all over it too, which is
Totally.
really, really cool. There's a song intro. Do you guys ever fuck with that Sons of Abraham record, Termites in Its Smile or whatever?
Oh yeah, Jewish hardcore, man.
Dude, there's a song on the Incendiary record with the exact same intro as a song on that record, and I'm like, I know they're aware of this. Like, I guarantee to them this is probably like paying some sort of like tribute or homage or something like that. But no, that record's sick. I actually listened to it today just to be like, see if it's going to make the list. But yeah, it's fucking awesome.
It's good stuff. Joey, how about your number 8? What do you got?
Always the Antisocialites.
Nice. It's such a good name for the record too.
Yeah, it's just super fun. That song "Lollipop" Ode to Jim is just so damn good. Yeah, I like it as much as the last record, but I really, really enjoy it a lot. And yeah,
have you seen them before? Because I haven't seen them personally.
I'm not either.
I saw them for like a minute at like South by Southwest or something one year, but I didn't.
When you were just like throwing contracts around trying to sign them.
Yeah, you know how South by Southwest is.
I know. Joey's just hustling, trying to. Hey, you guys want to work with 6131? Come on, I got a hot contract you can sign.
The worst week of the year that I think we hopefully don't go to anymore.
That's funny.
Yeah, that thing's trash. That thing is trash.
Subway, which I do.
Unless what?
Unless you like Subway. Or Taco Bell or Doritos.
Or Doritos, yeah. You want to play a show and get some Doritos? That's what everyone wants before and after you play.
Yeah, we'll pay you $2,000 and then you got 97 kilos of Doritos.
Yeah. Can I get more salsa verde in my monitor?
I think it's yours, Jeremy. Number 8.
Number 8. Mount Erie. A Crow Looked at Me.
So good.
Did you guys listen to that record at all?
No, I heard it was sad. Didn't want to listen.
Barely missed my list.
Dude, I'll say that this is the record on my list that I didn't listen to often, and I think that's understandable because it's so fucking sad and heavy. For those who don't know, the dude who does Mount Erie, his name is Ray. Hit me.
Oh, God. Yeah, I can't remember. I'll have to Google it. It's okay.
We're gonna edit this. Hold on, we're gonna edit this real quick. I'm gonna because right now we're looking like the biggest posers because this guy's really cool. He's known for being a cool guy.
He's fucking microphones.
God damn it.
Phil.
Microphones guy. Phil.
Elevrium. Yeah.
I'll butcher that name anyway. But yeah, dude Phil who does Mount Erie, also did the microphones. He's a very prolific type from the Northwest. But yeah, his wife died of cancer shortly after they had their first child. And just, yeah, I mean, it's so straightforward and honest in a way that, is uncomfortable. So I think I just had to put it on my list just for the sheer bravery of the record. It's unbelievable. I mean, obviously, I put out a record about loss in sort of a similar vein. And when I would have people say like, oh wow, like that's a really, like you were very honest and straightforward. And like a lot of things you say are can be uncomfortable and things like that. I hear this record and I'm like, if that's how I like anything close to what I made people feel like I'm like, whoa, okay. And I can see it through like a different set of eyes now where like that record has lines in it and parts in it that I'm just like, Jesus Christ, like so heavy, but the songs are beautiful. And, I don't know. So the record's called A Crow Looked at Me, and yeah, it's great.
It was so, I had never checked out, microphones I kind of listened to, but Mount Erie I dabbled in and out of. But then honestly, it wasn't until his interview that he did on WTF where I was like, oh, yeah, I was like, holy shit. Like, not only, you put out a record, obviously, this past year I've experienced cancer in my own life. And I after I was done with the interview, I put on the record and it was like, I was just on a long walk and it's like in the middle of it, I'm just like crying. I'm just like, oh my God. And it was like, yeah, I totally agree with you. Like the only reason
that it didn't make my list was because I was just like, there's other records I've listened to more. But like, yeah, you can't. This isn't an easy listen on any.
It's not an easy. Yeah, it's like I. The only reason I didn't listen to it more is for my mental health. like it's a great record and it deserves the esteem. But like, I mean, yeah, like you'd have to be a little. Yeah, you'd have to be someone pretty wild to be like, yeah, I fucking jam that shit daily.
Yeah, man.
You know,
just driving to work in the mornings. You know, just
yeah. It's I mean, it's like watch it. It's if you were like, dude, I love Magnolia. I watch it like fucking once a week. You'd be like,
Requiem for a Dream in the morning.
Yeah, Requiem for a Dream is like my favorite movie. You'd be like, dude, it's a good movie, but Jesus Christ,
just pop it in on Friday night.
I mean, granted, I bought a lot of movies I never watched, but I remember buying Requiem for a Dream, being like, I fucking love this movie. When am I going to ever be in the mood to watch that?
Nope. Well, I watched that movie once, and it bummed me out to such a degree that I've never seen it again. And people are like, "Oh yeah, I know, like the fucking drug." And I'm like, no, strictly the mom character.
Yeah.
Oh.
Fuck everybody else in that movie. Like they all got what they deserve. They're young, but like that poor mom. Are you kidding me? That storyline.
Yeah.
Fuck wrecked me.
I think Joey. Our old roommate and myself, Brandon Bale, we watched that one morning, and then we were like, and we were done. Yeah, I seriously, I don't know why we did that, but it was like 10:30. We had already finished it, and it was just like, well, not doing anything the rest of this day. This day's done. See you later. And then we would. Yeah. I think we both went to our rooms afterwards and didn't talk to each other the rest of the day.
You know what?
Fuck that.
Like the first time I went. Quick tangent. I saw Apocalypse Now with like a couple friends at a friend's house like a Friday night in high school. It was over and we're just like, well, see you Monday.
Totally. Yeah. I think I actually, on that same note, I think I did a Exorcist, like when it got re-released in theaters, I did it for like a birthday. And it was like, oh, well, all right, see you guys later. We're not going to speak the rest of the night.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, what are we at number-wise? Oh, now it goes to you, number 7, Jeremy, right?
Oh, sure, yeah. Number 7, Phoebe Bridgers, Stranger in the Alps.
Oh.
I am a fan as well.
I think similar to Joey maybe in this. I forget if you were in California at the time, but like I've seen her play a good amount of times now where she's open for Conor Oberst, she's open for Julian.
That's a few times.
Yeah, and like I always thought she was good, by all means good, but I never bought the 7-inch that came out on Ryan Adams' label or anything like that. Like I was like, yeah, it's good. And then this record came out and I was like, oh yeah, I'll check it out. And it's so good. It's so good. The lyrics are awesome. An old friend of mine that I used to hang out with a lot in the early Touche days, I guess co-wrote this record with her, which is really cool. Do you guys remember that band Olin and the Moon?
Yeah.
Remember that? Does that sound familiar? Yeah. The dude, we at one point were going to do a split 7-inch with them, like a long time ago.
For that band, yeah.
They were like a really cool LA, like sort of like alt country band. But yeah, the drummer of Olin and the Moon, his name's Marshall. Like co-wrote almost all the songs on the record and sings on it and stuff like that. So also having that involvement makes it really exciting. Also, you get Conor Oberst to sing on your record and you cover Mark Hoslick for the last track. Like,
wow, yeah,
I'm in.
I was not aware of her at all. So this sounds. Sounds like
you'll like this record. You'll like this record. It's really fucking good. It came out on Dead Oceans. So of course, like, go ahead.
I would say Dead Oceans is another label that just like everything they're putting out is just like gold.
Yeah, definitely. It's funny. As soon as this record came out, I was like, fuck, did I fuck up by not getting these 7-inches? And they were like both out of print. There was like one that was only sold at shows. And thankfully I just went and saw her a couple weeks ago and they still had leftover copies of the self-released one. And then I found the Paxam one on Discogs for like $12, thankfully. But it made me be like, oh, no, I need everything now. As I'm sure we've all felt that way about stuff.
Of course. You look under a rock and you're just like, I got to have everything now, apparently. Okay, well.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I like horror soundtracks. Well, I mean, of course I'll buy that soundtrack. No one wants that. I mean, I haven't seen the movie since 1987 and it kind of sucked, but, they put it on vinyl? Okay.
Yeah. Sign me up immediately.
Yeah. So yeah, do I pick somebody or what do I do?
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's fine.
Joey, what's your number 7?
Sheer Mag, Need to Feel Your Love. That shit is good.
No idea.
You didn't listen to it, Ray, or you're not
I
tapped in?
I'm not listening.
Not even familiar with Sheer Mag?
No, man.
How have you missed the boat on this?
Yeah, this band is like kind of, it's really weird,
They're
man.
huge. Yeah, I'm fair. I mean, they played Coachella. Like,
They've been on TV.
No, I've seen the band's name, but they just did not.
They were on Seth Meyers when they had a 7-inch out. Like this band,
really?
Like,
and they played Coachella with a 7-inch.
Wow,
like,
that's impressive.
They put out I mean, I feel like they're kind of like Chance the Rapper of like this, where they put out their records. They're like but they've got to have like a lot of behind them. But they put out their own record. Like, I don't know. It's punk adjacent. I would, it's very like, feels like 70s rock, but not.
It's Thin Lizzy, but it's Thin Lizzy played by like punks with that. I didn't realize this, but what band were the guitar players in? Someone pointed out, I think Barry from Joyce Manor recently was talking about how it's like someone who was in like a Twinkle Daddy band. Do you know about this?
No.
Yeah. I think it's like someone who played in one of those sort of not Algernon, but could have been an Algernon, maybe on Philly, Top Shelf or something like that.
Well, dude, if they're from Philly, like, you can't throw a stone without someone having some affiliation with that.
I'm looking at Joey right now through Skype, and I know he's doing research. I'm just seeing Joey go.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's someone who. It was like someone who played in one of those bands, which is, I mean, like, obviously if you play in one of those types of bands, you're probably good at the old guitar. But yeah, it's, the record's, it's good. It didn't make my list, but it's good for sure.
I love it. It was one of those records where like, it's one of my most listened to records of the year. Like, I listen to it a lot.
Great driving.
Yes. It's very good driving music. And since I'm not I'm not driving as much and not listening to as many podcasts, I've been listening to more music as I drive. So yeah, spent a lot of time with this record in the car.
Sick.
On the Mean Street.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it's really good. I just want to know the story. I want to know how they get on.
I know. Keep doing your research.
Hold on. Is Little Big League a Twinkle Daddy band?
Weren't they?
No.
Was it members of Big League? They were.
That was like a pop punk band.
They were, I think they were on for cover at one point, maybe.
Tiny Engines. I see.
Engines. Yeah.
So someone in that band was in that.
Weird.
And someone was also in Titus Andronicus, which is interesting.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hi, I'm David Eagleman. I have a new podcast called Inner Cosmos on iHeart. I'm a neuroscientist and an author at Stanford University, and I've spent my career exploring the 3-pound universe in our heads. On my new podcast, I'm going to explore the relationship between our brains and our experiences by tackling unusual questions so we can better understand our lives and our realities. Like, does time really run in slow motion when you're in a car accident? Or can we create new senses for humans? Or what does dreaming have to do with the rotation of the planet? So join me weekly to uncover how your brain steers your behavior, your perception, and your reality. Listen to Inner Cosmos with David Eagleman on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Rosie O'Donnell, and I've got a new podcast called Onward with me, Rosie O'Donnell, on iHeart. I'm 60 years old now. Believe that? Yes, it's the truth. So I figure 2/3 of my life are done. 0 to 30, 30 to 60, and now I'm in the 60 to 90 if I'm lucky. Mostly, this part of my life is just about moving forward. And I thought, what a wonderful way to do it. With a podcast that I can sit down here in my home with people I love and admire, people I've worked with, people I've gotten to be friends with, and some family friends that feel like the real deal. Like who, you might ask? Natasha Lyonne, Jennifer Lewis, Ricky Lake, Fran Drescher, Sharon Gless, Kathy Griffin, Cameron Manheim. The list goes on and on. Listen to Onward with Rosie O'Donnell, a proud part of the Outspoken Podcast Network on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I am extremely excited to tell you about this awesome sponsor called Storyworth. Now, everyone has a family member who tells like the killer best stories, you know, from like crazy trips they've taken to hilarious college pranks. Storyworth makes it easy and fun for your loved ones to tell those stories. So simply purchase a subscription for someone you love, and each week Storyworth sends them an email with a question about their life. It's super simple, super easy. Then they reply with their story, either phone or email, and then after a year, their stories are bound into a beautiful keepsake book. And don't worry, data is secure and everything is private by default, so you control who sees your stories. And Storyworth makes it easy to preserve your memories and pass them on to your children and their future families. It's a great holiday gift for anyone who enjoys telling stories. So I am giving this to my grandmother who lives in Arizona, and she's born and raised in the Midwest, and she's just an incredibly intelligent and thoughtful person. And anytime she is, writes me like a birthday card, she always, writes a little letter on the back and, just offers either bits of wisdom or other things that she's experienced. So I'm very excited to key her into this, and I've got it for her, and I can't wait to see what story she tells. And it's the beautiful thing about Storyworth is that, I've done this with my podcast where you are preserving people's stories for future generations and, sometimes exposing you to other ideas or other ways of life. And that is what is so beautiful about Storyworth. So it is just a absolute necessary service because, sometimes your grandparents or people of previous generations, sometimes it's difficult to connect with. But then after you start to realize like, hey, these people are humans. They just grew up in a different era. It just really, really brings you closer. And I can't tell you how much I back Storyworth and I love what they do. So for $20 off, go to storyworth.com/words when you subscribe. That's storyworth.com/words. It's literally the best gift that you can potentially give to somebody. Okay? So do it up, storyworth.com/words, and enjoy $20 off. All right, now on with the show.
I think my number 7 record now, because Jeremy shared, Joey shared.
Yep.
My number 7 is Less Art, Strangled Light. Granted, this is like complete friendom putting on this list, but that record is so good. It's obviously our close friend Mike Minnick, Grow Up and Die, and then some of our other close friends in Thrice, and then Ian, who is an incredible human being as well. So basically, it's just a band comprised of all of our best friends, and it's it's hard to listen to something like that and be like, unobjectively, I like it. Like no matter what, I was probably going to like it. But they just did such a good job with making this weird, noisy rock thing that seems to be getting people to pay attention to it in ways that I don't know. I was kind of surprised. Like all the shows I've seen them, people were there and they were like engaged and interested. Not like I was expecting this thing to be like, oh, cool. Like no one's going to care about it except your friends. Not trying to portray it like that, but I just you're proud of people for doing creative stuff, and this record was just great. So way to go, friends.
This is one of those records that would probably be in my like 10 to 15 range. I really enjoy it. And same thing, they played a decent sized room in Boston, and there was a lot of people there, and people were like singing along. And I'm having members of Thrice, like there was a lot of kids wearing like Thrice shirts. There was a kid wearing a Productive Out shirt, which I thought was cool.
That's funny.
But yeah, I was psyched. There was a lot of people there. I wish I was home for those Seosin shows, or I guess I live here now, but I wish I was in California.
Yeah.
The record's cool. It's definitely cool. I was very surprised when Mike had sent it to me because I was expecting my comedic voice, and I got sort of a more Pat Kinlan sounding voice, which I was like, huh. And I know he's like a big fan of like End of a Year and all that stuff. So I was like, okay, I can see what you're doing, and it's cool because it's complete role reversal for Mike Minnick. I feel because his role in Curl Up and Die was, yeah, I'm going to make sure no one can understand a word I'm saying, and this is him just talk yelling.
Yeah, enunciation.
Yeah, the lyrics are good, and Mike is awesome. I want to see him live. I haven't seen him in California, or I haven't seen him at all yet, but I know they've played California a handful of times.
It's real good. And a side note, if Mike is listening, I've told him this before, we're in the country, I plays the show again. That is all.
Yeah.
You cut out when you said that. What? We can edit this out. I like how I'm taking charge of the edits, by the way. We can edit this out.
Yeah.
What did you say, Joey?
I'll play anywhere in the country if Curl Up and I plays the show. I don't care where it is. I just want to see Curl Up again. One more time.
Yeah, Mike, come on, listen to that. Joey will fly anywhere in the country.
I've tried to resurrect that in more than one iteration.
We all have.
I know. Sucks. Like I like how all collectively we've been trying to figure out ways like, hey, dude, play this show with us. Can you do this? This is a good idea.
I've seen practice videos. I know it was attempted at one point.
It was.
They were supposed to play those chain shows with us. Damn it!
And they were supposed to play. They were supposed to play a Taken show a couple times, and then I'm trying to get them. I know.
I'm out.
Yeah, I'm out. For sake of keeping this going on, then now I think I'll do number 6, and then I'll throw it around. Number 6 is a band called Hammock. They released a record called Mysterium, which this is something I would expect neither of you to have. Yeah, this is mysterious to both of you. So basically it's a 2-piece from I think Nashville, but somewhere in Tennessee. It's just like it's total, atmospheric, ethereal, just like basically I read a description of this band. This is the music equivalent of like a flotation tank, where it's like you're put in there and you're just transported to this like completely different world it's just, beautiful, orchestral, like whatever. But it's just 2 dudes. They play like 1 or 2 shows a year. Like Jonesy from Psyche Rose, like flew over to write songs with them. Like these are just these 2 random dudes that have been putting out records. Like this is their 9th full length. And, and they just like scored a movie. It's like they're just doing the damn thing, and I love the record. It's a record that I probably listened to the most this year, but just because it put me in such like a good headspace for work and living life and stuff like that. So yeah, if you're looking for something that's like a flotation tank for your ears, then go ahead and listen to him.
I'll make a note for I'll make a note when I break edge. Listen to Hammock.
Hey, well, to be clear, I have not broken edge. We are still the trifecta of edge folk here, unless Joey's not telling something.
How dare you, Brett?
Dude,
funny
side note. For whatever reason, I thought Andrew from Strife was not straight edge anymore, and I made like some passing reference in an interview I did, and then he emails me and he's like, "Dude, what are you talking about?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, I'm getting called out for completely misrepresenting a person on straight edge," and I feel like I'm like 16 years old again. And he really wasn't mad. It was just funny. So, anyways, straight edge. And Andrew from Strife, still straight edge.
Cool. Good to know.
Yeah, there you go. Jeremy, what do you got? Number 6.
Number 6 is this record neither of you guys have heard. It's from a band called Always. It's a record called Antisocialize.
Is it good?
Yeah. What's the deal?
Yeah, it's really good. So my 2 cents is that I didn't care for the last record very much because to me it sounded like kind of diet Best Coast, and that sound is just sort of meh to me. So fuck you, Joey.
Yeah. Joey,
I'll have some hot takes Best Coast right now if you want.
But yeah, so this record, when it was coming out, I was like, okay, yeah, fine. And then everyone was kind of ranting about it. And then Clayton and Calvert were playing a lot in the van, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this thing is super good. And one of them was telling me that in an interview, singer was sort of saying like how she hates the last record, how she wishes it didn't sound that way, and that this was more what she wanted to do in the band and whatnot. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like this is for me. To me, it sounds like it could be Camera Obscura meets songs that could have been on the Drive soundtrack at certain points. So for me, it's a pretty good combination. So yeah, that record rules. It's constantly being played, whether in my car or driving with Ashley or whatever. We're both pretty obsessed with it. So yeah, if you haven't listened to it, obviously all three of us say it's sick. So listen to that now.
We agree. We concur.
Yeah. I think this is the first time where all three of us have a record this early on in the podcast. So look at that.
It's true. Making history.
Whose turn is it? Or am I throwing it to somebody? I'm so sorry. I'm so bad at this. I have a job now, so my brain is fried.
It's Joey's number 6 now, I think.
Okay.
I'll keep it short and sweet. It's Phoebe Bridgers, Stranger in the Alps. Great
Never
record.
heard of it.
I'll tell you all about it. Do you have a minute?
Can't wait to listen to it.
The song "Funeral" is maybe my favorite song of the year, or top. It's in the top 3 favorite songs of the year. The song's just incredible.
It's great. Fuck yeah, it's good.
Yeah, that record's incredible. I really enjoy it, and I listen to it a lot. Boom. Let's move on.
Number 5.
Number 5.
Yeah.
This caught me by surprise that it is this low. Number 5, The National, Sleep Well Beast.
I'm just going to go ahead and say that's my number 5 as well.
The National is one of those bands where it's just like, okay, my number 1 record's coming out. Mm-hmm. And, it's really good. I think it's Trouble Will Find Me is just a modern classic, and it's going to, I think, tough to beat. I think the song Corinne in the Liquor Store is.
I've been calling Karen in the liquor store, so yeah, who gives a shit?
Yeah. Cool.
I think maybe a top 10 national song. I really enjoy it, but it's not as good as the last couple.
Sure. You know what? I'm going to use, because I might talk about this. I'm going to say what I'm going to say maybe in like less than a minute.
That's the record is my number 5 record as well, and I completely it almost pained me to put it that low, and I think all of us probably experienced that when we were listening to it, and I think it was one of those things where it was just the how they expanded their God, this sounds so pretentious, how they expanded their sonic palette, the farther they pushed themselves. It wasn't like I was like, oh man, this is a terrible miss, but I was just like, oh, it didn't hit me in ways. And like, maybe it's one of those things where it's like in a year, I'm going to be like, oh no. Or maybe in 6 months, I'll be like, no, actually I get it now.
That's kind of what I was expecting, because Trouble Will Find Me, like I was so high on High Violet that Trouble Will Find Me was like, it took a lot of listens for it to get to where it is now, in which, I think that record's perfect. So I kept listening to this thinking like, oh, it'll hit me eventually. Like it'll click. And it just never fully clicked.
Yeah. Oh, I think we lost Joey for a second. Oh, there you go.
Hello. I can see both of you.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's good. The songs live were great. It made me appreciate Turtleneck more, which I think is a weird outlier on the record.
I love that song.
It's a good song.
Really?
Yeah.
Take it on. The more I listened to it, grew on me, and then seeing it live, I kind of like got it a little more. And then I heard this. I don't know if it's true, but supposedly they wrote it like right after the election, so I get why it's kind of like just this pissed off song. So yeah, but yeah,
cool.
It's a good number 5.
Yeah, I agree. What'd you put for number 5, Jeremy?
My number 5 is, and when I said less than a minute, I was totally wrong. It might be a little later on. My number 5 is Alex G, the record Rocket. Did you guys listen to this record?
Dude, that thing was so good.
It's so good. Joey, Okay, so like, there's a lot of artists that I admit I poo-poo. I subconsciously poo-poo, where I just assume it's not for me. Like
we all worked at record stores. It happens.
Yeah, like there's certain things that it's like the whole idea of like bedroom indie rock artists, lo-fi stuff. Like when it's around me, like I'm like, sure, it's pleasant, but I don't care that much. But for one reason or another, actually, no, I could probably tell you the reason. I decided to give this record a shot. It's because I don't know if you guys saw the one of the Billboard ads he did, which was just a kind of like passive aggressive tweet from somebody about the record, and that was how he advertised it. Like that was his billboard, like this passive aggressive tweet from someone randomly being like, "I can't see this getting very much better," or something like that. And I was like, okay, like you've got humor about yourself. Like I'll check this out. And I find myself listening to it constantly. Like it's that for me is one of those, like, I don't know what I want to listen to right now. Well, this is always pleasant. So it's great. The really quiet songs are really good. Actually, when we were on tour with Turnover in Australia, now that I think about it, they were the ones who played it for me first, and they were ranting about it. And I was like, okay, maybe I should give this a shot. And then I saw the Billboard ad, and I was like, now I'm going to give this definitely a lot of attention.
I'll take my comments off mic.
Okay. Now that we're all going, well, what?
Yeah, no, I can't wait I can't wait to hear that, Juice.
That's not Juice. You're
just not a fan.
Yes.
Okay.
Simply put.
What's next? What do we do?
Number 4 for you, Bood.
Number 4 for me. I feel like we're falling right back into last year with this, but there's more to say. Sun Kill Moon Yesu, 30 Seconds to the Decline of Planet Earth. I remember we talked about the other one last year. Did you guys end up listening to that one more? Or
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it went really well.
No, I was cool with it. I mean, it opened once I got past my reservations last time. I was just like, oh, it sounds like shit.
Yeah,
I liked it.
Yeah, once it gets out of the distorted stuff, it's a lot better. But this record, they did exactly what I hoped they did, which is there is no distorted stuff. It is just all pleasant. It's all quiet, minimal, sort of electronic-y, and then also just like straight up, just like guitar, like acoustic guitar, like regular standard Sun Kill Moon stuff. It's my favorite thing. I go as far as to say it's my favorite thing he's done since Benji. So that's where I put it.
I think I realized too after listening to this and like why it really didn't continue with me. And I'm sure you guys have experienced this with certain artists where you just mainline a person. Like, for him, like basically once the first Sun Kill Moon record came out, I could not have been more obsessed with Red House Painters and like basically everything he did for like 3 to 5 years. I just wallowed in it. And now I feel like I've reached that point of him where I'm just like, I still worship the ground he walks on from that perspective, but I'm like, okay, like I've mainlined him too much that I need some distance from him.
The extent of the amount of stuff he's currently in the last year and a half putting out, it's just like, okay. And like, I don't know if you've listened to any of like the collab records he's done in the last year.
Yeah.
But I genuinely feel like he's like attacking people with like sonically, totally. Like being like I don't want you anymore. Like I want to try to alienate you as much as possible.
He's always tested his audience patience, but this now is like a further step of like, listen, you might think I'm this like twee indie songwriter, but like seriously, don't fucking listen to me.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I still listen to everything he's doing, and I'll give it all a fair shot. But this collab record is the most I've enjoyed out of him, and more recently.
Yeah, I feel you. Now you get to pick between myself or Joey.
I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go into a typical order here. I'm gonna go back to Ray.
That's
Ray,
fine.
What do you got?
I have the new Mogwai record, Every Country's Son. Mogwai, they're just one of those bands that has existed for ever and ever. And once I got into them, when I was working at Bionic in Huntington, this record is so goddamn good. It reminds me of Happy Songs for Happy People, just as far as like the listenability. They have, I wouldn't say a lot more vocals in it, but they definitely have that's more present. I just saw them also like 2 weeks ago, and they were unbelievable. The band really hasn't put out a bad record, but like when something like this comes out that's just like, oh God, I can't stop listening to it. It just forces me to, make it the number 4 record of the year. So Mogwai, Ride or Die. They're a great band.
Cool.
I've tried to get into and I enjoy them, but I'm never going to listen to them.
Yeah. It's okay. You don't have to. It's not a female vocalist. I understand. Or a white 3-point shooter for fantasy basketball. Sorry. It's a joke there. So now it's Joey. You're number 4, right?
Yep, number 4.
Uh-oh. I know.
The suspense, that was it.
Here.
Yeah. Oh, Joey, you there?
Oh?
Hey, now you're okay.
I'm here.
I know. You
weird. I don't know.
Oh, we didn't hear a word you said.
So yeah.
It was a pregnant pause.
Number 4.
My number 4 is AFI, the Blood record.
I forgot that came out this year. Holy shit.
January.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I've been riding with this record for a year.
I feel like 40 years old now. That's so weird.
This record blew my fucking mind.
Wow.
Like, they're my favorite band, but I don't remember the last time a record has made my list. They were the legacy band I'm talking about. It was White Offering, We Sing the Sorrow Again. And then the record came out, and it was the complete opposite. Like, to me, it sounds like Crash Love meets the last record a little. I don't know. It's so good. It's catchy. The lyrics are great. I have a great time with it. And I love AFI.
That's good.
So,
yes, you do.
Do you know if it did it do anything for them? Like, was it commercially successful? I don't have no sense of that.
I have no idea. Like, it was on like the Concord Music Group, which I understand, but I also don't understand at the same time. Like,
they just own a bunch of labels.
Yeah. It just, I don't really get it, like what their system is, but it seemed to, it do all right. I feel like, they did more touring off this record than the last one. They did tours in between Dream Car tours, which to me says there was maybe, a little more momentum. Sales wise was probably,
Yeah, they probably just have their base,
Their base, and they're always going to go to the shows and get the records. But and I'm one of those people.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now you can do your number 3.
Well, Jeremy never picks me, so I'm going to go Ray.
No. You can do your number 3. Remember, because we've all shared our 4. And then
have we?
Yeah. I said Mogwai. Yeah, exactly.
I'm picking Ray after I go. Number 3 is Paramore, After Laughter.
Woo!
Yeah,
I was in my head. I'm like, I don't know where this is going to land, but it's probably going to be top 5 for Joey.
Yep. It was my most listened to record of the year. It would have been higher, except for, I know your thoughts, Jeremy. We've talked about it.
I just love Jeremy's. This is not audibly picked up, but it's just Jeremy just mouths, "Wow."
Yeah, it is everything I want in a record. There's a song on it that I do not like, which is why it is number 3. But everything else about it is phenomenal.
That's pretty harsh. That's pretty harsh. One bad song on the record, they dropped 2 spots.
Is it the song? Is it the song with Aaron from Me Without You?
Yes. Like, it's not. It just doesn't need to be on the record. Like, it's cool. I think it's awesome that he has his own song.
Yeah,
on the record, but it seems pretty unnecessary.
Okay. It's the only song I listen to.
The record's great. It's super fun. It's super happy. Nicole kind of likes it, so it's a good car listen.
I just remember thinking it sounded like Wilson Phillips being played. Wilson Phillips made songs for the Little Mermaid soundtrack.
Yeah. I love the Little Mermaid, and Hold On is a great fucking song.
Isn't there like a lot of steel drum on that fucking record?
No. I wouldn't
You
say
sure?
I mean, there's a lot of percussion.
Steel drum in particular.
For a band who's like, I mean, Paramore, like they've been around for lots of years, like to kind of like essentially reinvent themselves with a record that sounds nothing like the other stuff, and seems pretty successful, and like I don't know, it's great. I think it's awesome. I think it's cool. They could, just write Misery Business again.
I just always with every Paramore record, I'm just like, I just need the singles. I don't need the record, and that's like basically where I stand with this record too. It's just like, okay, cool, yeah, the songs I've heard are cool, but
I feel like we can just go ahead and call that the Weezer now.
True, good point.
Just call that the Weezer syndrome.
Do we even need Weezer singles now?
No. But I'm going more. Yeah. If I was to frame that around Maladroit, Green Album, Make Believe,
yeah. Hurley. Oh wait, no.
Red Album. Actually, Pork and Beans was not a bad song.
No, true. Hurley actually had some decent songs. If you took the last like 7 Weezer records, you could put together a pretty good record.
I was about to say, I could probably make a pretty fucking killer like later era Spotify playlist.
Yeah, just put Hash Pipe on 10 times.
That's about it.
Woodland.
Fucking hate that song.
It's so bad.
It's like, hey, you want to I remember the first riff I ever wrote on guitar. You guys want to make a song about it?
Yeah, absolutely. No problem.
Cool. What's next?
Leftovers or the DMV
Number 97.
or house cleaning or Chumba Casino always brings the fun. Play over 100 different games online for free from anywhere. You could redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. Live the Chumba life. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hi, I'm David Eagleman. I have a new podcast called Inner Cosmos on iHeart. I'm a neuroscientist and an author at Stanford University, and I've spent my career exploring the 3-pound universe in our heads. On my new podcast, I'm going to explore the relationship between our brains and our experiences by tackling unusual questions so we can better understand our lives and our realities. Like, does time really run in slow motion when you're in a car accident? Or can we create new senses for humans? Or what does dreaming have to do with the rotation of the planet? So join me weekly to uncover how your brain steers your behavior, your perception, and your reality. Listen to Inner Cosmos with David Eagleman on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Rosie O'Donnell, and I've got a new podcast called Onward with me, Rosie O'Donnell, on iHeart. I'm 60 years old now. Believe that? Yes, it's the truth. So I figure 2/3 of my life are done. 0 to 30, 30 to 60, and now I'm in the 60 to 90 if I'm lucky. Mostly, this part of my life is just about moving forward. And I thought, what a wonderful way to do it. With a podcast that I can sit down here in my home with people I love and admire, people I've worked with, people I've gotten to be friends with, and some family friends that feel like the real deal. Like who, you might ask? Natasha Lyonne, Jennifer Lewis, Ricky Lake, Fran Drescher, Sharon Gless, Kathy Griffin, Cameron Manheim. The list goes on and on. Listen to Onward with Rosie O'Donnell, a proud part of the Outspoken Podcast Network on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Oh boy, Rockabilia.com. So you've heard me talk about them in the past couple episodes, but Rockabilia is your literal best place for merch on the web. And what I'm giving you right now is 15% off. So use this code PC100, that's the number, words or less. That equals 15% off. And basically, there are amazing things about Rockabilia that I want to let you know about. For one, every design is licensed by the band, so they're getting paid the royalties. It's essentially it's like buying a shirt at a show, except there's, a little more intricacies behind it because, you get it shipped to you straight at home. They have over 500,000 different items from bands as wide variety genre as you got your Mastodons, you got your Newfound Glories. Trust me, you will find something you like here. I've ordered stuff from them. Shipping's great. Customer service is great. I can't say enough good things about Rockabilia. So go to rockabilia.com. Use the code PC 100 words or less, which is obviously the name of the show, and you will enjoy 15% off, okay? Please, Rockabilia is the best place to buy merch online. Don't be fooled by all these ridiculous bootleg companies that, frankly, just don't pay bands, and that's the worst thing ever. So you need to go to Rockabilia, okay? 15% off. Enjoy. All right, now on the show.
My number 3, because Joey threw it to me, is Julian Baker. Turn out the lights. I know. Turn out the bright lights.
Yeah, turn out the bright lights.
I mean, you encapsulated it perfectly. I mean, the record is just more. She obviously has more time, more ability to find her voice, more ability to be able to understand the power in her vocals, and obviously the restraint that she has. So it's just she's just able to be more of an adult on the record just because she's got more time and she has more ability. So the record's unbelievable. And it was one of those things too where it didn't hit me in the same way that the Mount Erie record did. But this isn't something you're gonna be like, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna toss this on. No, the way to work. It's like, no, you got to sit down and listen to the whole record. You can't just pop it in for 10 minutes and then put it off. So, but the record's
it's not a record that should come on shuffle.
Totally. Don't put it on your party playlist,
Yeah.
I made best of 2017 playlist that had 15 or so records on it, and I would just listen to it on shuffle, and those would come up and be like, that's kind of killing the vibe a little.
Totally.
In a bad way, but just,
No.
I feel like she would love that I feel like she'd take that as a compliment.
I mean, it is a compliment. It's
You can't you can't listen to it devoid of the way that it's meant to be listened to, which is as a record, and
totally.
What's your number 3, Jeremy?
Number 3, The National, Sleep Well Beast. I agree. I agree with everything you guys said. Where I'll use an analogy that was used when talking about the Converge record recently, which is to critique this is like critiquing a Coen Brothers movie, where you're like, I mean, it's still fucking great. You know what I'm saying? It's
better. It's better than most.
It's better than most things. That's why it's my number 3. It's I can listen to it and enjoy it, but I can tell you right now why it immediately didn't floor me, which was their choice of fucking. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna pull it up real quick to make sure I'm not speaking out of school. Sorry for this. Okay. So I feel like to have track 3 be "Walk It Back" really kind of took me out of the record, because that song is strange to me. It's definitely my least favorite song on the record, where it kind of meanders and kind of goes in a lot of different ways, and it kind of sounds like 3 different songs almost. And it doesn't have hooks or whatever. Not that it should have hooks, but just for a track 3, I feel like track 3 is when you either need to push the record or bring it down if you've been going high. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So you need to, especially for people who, this, because obviously the National keeps growing in popularity. So it's if this is the first National record that people are hearing, you really want to make it.
Well, you want to build and build. And that song to me either sounds like a song that should just not have made the record, or the last song on the record.
To Jeremy's point, "Don't Swallow the Cap" is number 3 on Trouble Will Find Me. And that is maybe the best, my favorite National song. That song is catchy. It has everything I want in a song.
Totally.
And, yeah.
Well, I also like the word the word catchy with the National, like, you know, when you say that, they're catchy in their own way, and that's why I love. That's
Totally.
what's so beautiful about this band, where the songs that are catchy on this record aren't like. There's no way you could play it for somebody else and be like, "Hey, this is catchy." They'd be like, "What the hell about this is catchy?"
Right. Totally.
I think there's songs on Trouble Find Me that are like legit catchy. Like,
oh yeah,
like not like, you know,
but like that being,
I feel like there's really hooks on this record.
I mean, the song "Day I Die" is like massive, catchy hook, big hook. You know what I'm saying? "Day I Die," "The System Only Dreams in Total Darkness" is hooky. "Guilty Party" is as sad as it is, like, you know, that can be in my head all day. Yeah, and also there's just songs on the record that like kind of are very reminiscent of one another towards the B-side. Like the more quieter songs kind of like are interchangeable a little bit. They don't stand out on their own as much, but then Turtleneck happens and I'm like, yo, I'm fucking having a great time. That song is bizarre and the lyrics are funny in a way. But yeah, the record's awesome, but that's why it's number 3 and not number 1.
Yeah. But it's on all of our lists, so you should listen to it, dum dums.
So yeah,
if you don't
exactly.
if you don't like the National, you shouldn't even listen to this podcast. So see you later.
Exactly.
I think we all shared our number 3, so now you're on your number 2.
My number 2. I feel like if this was us doing lists back in the day, this might be considered a cheating, maybe not as cheating in the way of like putting a compilation record or something like that on here, but cheating in the way where it's just a little off brand. But The Replacements, live at Maxwell's 1986.
Oh, interesting.
Throwing a live record on there.
Why not?
Because I don't think it's been done before. This is the first time in the history of lists there was someone throwing a live record on there.
The thought wouldn't even cross my mind. I respect it. It's a bold move.
It is.
Bold move.
I agree. I mean, that's like straight up. That's like straight up putting like a re-release.
Yeah, right.
It's maybe not as extreme.
Right. So the Replacements were known for being seriously like just the sloppiest mess of a band, but it was so charming, and this record like fully gets that. Like, it shows that, like, though as probably drunk and as messy as they are on this record, like, they're still really fucking good at their instruments, like kind of like the way NoFX is, where they're like, it makes no sense that those people are that talented, where you're just like, you guys are degenerates. How are you possibly this good at songwriting and singing? But yeah, like, there's a thing I was talking to a friend about recently is like, throughout the whole record, you can tell that maybe it was a joke backstage with the guys in the band or something, but throughout the whole record, one of them just keeps yelling murder in the middle of songs. And you can tell that the audience doesn't get it, but they think it's super funny, and they do it at the most inappropriate times. And like, Paul Westerberg like hardly remembers the lyrics. Like, they play songs like way simplified or whatever, but it has 29 songs on it, and it's just it's like the best of from their best era between like Pleased to Meet Me, Tim, Let It Be, and it's fucking awesome. Like, track 4, they start playing Fox on the Run, but then just like don't. And like stop in the chorus, and they're like hardly singing the words, but it's just like, why would you have started doing that? I don't know, but it's really charming, and I don't know how much you guys really care for the Replacements, but it's a really fun listen.
The Replacements are a band who I'm always like, I should get into the Replacements. They're like my new Belle and Sebastian.
Sure.
And I watched them at Riot Fest and was like, this is really good. And then I'll hear songs like, this is really good, but I have not like.
I am going to make you a killer playlist that I hope you listen to. How about that?
Yeah, that's the best for bands. I mean, I got into the Replacements when I read, I think it was their chapter in that, this band could be your life or whatever by Michael Azrod. Great book if you haven't read it. But yeah, that's the best thing, like what you're talking about right there in regards to going to a person who likes a particular band that has a massive catalog and be like, dude, pick me 15 songs. Because like, I just did that with like They Might Be Giants recently, and someone just, because they have like 975,000 songs, and so it's like, I'm like, where do I even begin? And someone's like, here's 20 songs. I'm like, oh, I get it.
Yeah. I feel like you should send me that playlist because they're one of those bands that I've never given a shot to because of that. But I know there's people that are fanatics.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I'll share the playlist. My boss put it together. That's what we talk about.
Okay.
You know, you should be talking about like selling podcast ads where we're just like, yo, what about They Might Be Giants? What do you got there?
Cool. So now I pick one of you for number 2, right?
Yes, sir.
Joey.
I kind of cheated, not going to lie. Okay. I guess you could call it number 2. I'm calling it 1B because I'm like, it could be my number 1, but it's like neck and neck. So whatever. And it's Julian Baker. I'm glad I can put a Julian Baker record on my list because I was leaving that too before. But I think this, I'm, fairly connected to the Julian Baker world.
Read biased. I'm just kidding.
I mean, this record's great. I mean, it doesn't have the same connection to me as Sprained Ankle, I think for obvious reasons, but I love this record. I think it shows like her talent and where she's able to go and where she will go. And, I think the song, Everything That Helps You Sleep, is incredible and maybe my favorite song by her. I love it.
Awesome.
I'm excited. Yeah,
it's super good. It's super fucking good.
It's just beautiful, and I know that's an adjective that means nothing when you're describing music, but it's beautiful.
It is, truly.
Yeah. My number 2 record, and this I could actually, I was up until this afternoon, I kept listening to my number 1, number 2, being like, I don't know. So this could be very similar to what you're talking about, 1A and 1B. The Menzingers record, After the Party. This thing came out. This thing came out in February. Menzingers were always a band that I was like, they're cool. Like they do well with what they do. But this record hit me in the way that, like, when the Gaslight Anthem put out the 59 sound, where it was just like, God damn. Like, I mean, it wasn't like, the Menzingers clearly have more records than the Gaslight Anthem did when they released 59 sound. But it was just that so easy to listen to, yet emotionally relevant, because basically they're just writing about being an aging punk band. They're just like, I don't know. Like, this is where we're at right now. We're old in relative terms. And that's like, after the party, that's the whole analogy where it's just like, after this whole thing kind of like passes us by, like, what do we do? And just having those two, having that message connect, and then having the fact that I think they were just writing their most mature and best music. That's why I was just like, God, this record is great. And watching them play the songs live was spectacular. I saw them at the Glass House. And it's just cool because I think that band is now at like a different level than what they used to be. Like, they're respected in different circles now. So, it's cool, man.
They just toured with The Offspring and Sublime with Rome,
which is
blew my mind.
It blew my mind too. I think
good for them.
I think they
very good for them.
I think they played somewhat close to me, and our mutual friend Felicia was just like, "Do you want to go see them?" I was just like, "I don't want to see them in that environment. That's terrible."
Yeah.
But
oh man.
But yeah.
I didn't get this. I genuinely love that band. I got to tour with them many years ago, and they're the best people. It started an entire joke within our band, which is a really mean joke about putting someone on the spot, asking who their favorite member of a band is. And it's like a really mean joke that's gone forever, but it started with, hey, who's your favorite singer? And it's impossible to decide between them and pianos. It's like impossible to decide who could be your favorite member because they're all charming people. I haven't got a chance to. I genuinely, it came out and I got it with a stack of other stuff from like Epitaph, and I didn't give it the shot it deserves. I will now that you've praised it this high.
Yeah, it's like their total career defining record, where it's just like, now everything they put out before this was cool, but now it's going to be even more exciting to see where they go from here. So,
I have like
this is our last. It's our last record. So yeah, we're my number 1 record of the year is Pallbearer, Heartless. So this is a band that is from Little Rock, Arkansas, doom band. This is their second record, I want to say, second full length on Profound Lore. It sold a lot of copies. Like, one of those bands that have ellipsed over to the whole Pitchfork, being a credible heavy band in that world. And
And I just listened to this record so damn much too. It's, you know, the vocalist can actually sing. He just doesn't scream. And the music is so, I mean, they're talking like, you know, 6 to 10 minute long songs. I think it's like a 7-song full length. They just kill it. And the fact they're from Little Rock is like, dude, you're a band from Little Rock that you've made it out and like done stuff. Like, that's incredible.
Respect. Good for them.
Total respect. I saw them at the Roxy, I want to say 2 years ago, and it was just crushing. But they also know like dynamics. They're not just like, we just want to be the fucking heaviest thing ever. It's just like, no, we know how to like ease off on the pedal, and yeah, it's just great. I love the band. So, Paul Bear, Heartless, way to go, guys.
Good record.
How about Jeremy? What do you got? What's your number one?
My number one is Conor Oberst, Salutations.
No surprise there.
Which seems a little, you know, because we had Ruminations last year, which is mostly this record, but now it's played with a full band, which I feel kind of gives it a whole nother vibe anyway. I listen to this thing constantly. Between Ruminations and Salutations, I probably listen to each one of them every other day, if not every day. Driving, anything. It's just always going to be a Conor fanatic. The lyrics are wonderful. I don't know. I don't know. I don't really know what to say other than just like I'm always going to go back to him, whether it's through Bright Eyes or through his solo stuff, and always going to be a favorite songwriter. And he just continues to blow me away. So there you go.
He knows what he's doing, man. He knows what he's doing.
I didn't like it as much as Ruminations. It made my
honorable
list.
But yeah, cool.
What's your number one, Joey?
Joey, what's your number one?
Close it off.
My number one is Alex Leahy, I Love You Like a Brother.
Wow.
I don't even know. I have no idea what that is.
She is from Australia. The record came out. This is actually 2 years in a row where my number one record is a band from Australia.
With the female vocalist.
No, last year was
just
Dina. She's from Australia. Record came out in Dead Oceans over here. And it's, you know, if I feel like in a different world, it would be like almost like a pop punk record, but it just has this like indie cred where like this like indie sensibility where she's able to just kind of like, I don't know. It's super fucking good. It's super catchy. It's just fun. And it was one of those records I was like, oh, this is great. Like I really liked it. And she played here about a month ago and it was the best show I've been to all year. And I was like, this is my number one record. Like it was
awesome.
Recency bias. I'm just kidding.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like if I hadn't seen her, it would have made my list, but it probably would be my number one. But it made me like go back and, you know, hear the songs. I did because like the first half of the record was just, it's like before that was like a perfect like 5 songs. And then I was like, oh, the last half is good, but seeing those songs live like totally changed them for me. And I love it. It's so good.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Sick. Well, way to go, guys. We did it again.
Yay.
Yay. So that was the year-end episode. Yay. Way to go, everybody. So hopefully, like I said, you found a few records that you might have missed or reminded you or whatever the case may be. But yeah, this is the Bible. This is actually scientifically, no, I'm just kidding. This is obviously our opinions and, take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, I love lists and this is a fun episode. So thanks to everyone for listening, and I will be back next week with another great episode where I have my friend Donnie Phillips. He is a graphic designer and also played in a hardcore band called The Warriors. And yeah, that's what's happening next week. So until then, please be safe, everybody.
You've been listening to the Jabberjaw Podcast Network, jabberjawmedia.com. Shh.
Leftovers. Or the DMV.
Number 97.
Or house cleaning. Or
Chumba Casino always brings the fun. Play over 100 different games online for free from anywhere. You could redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. Live the Chumba life. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hi, I'm David Eagleman. I have a new podcast called Inner Cosmos on iHeart. I'm going to explore the relationship between our brains and our experiences by tackling unusual questions like, can we create new senses for humans? So join me weekly to uncover how your brain steers your behavior, your perception, and your reality. Listen to Inner Cosmos with David Eagleman on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, y'all, my name is Justin Richmond. My new show, Started From the Bottom, is a podcast where I interview people who had to strive and struggle to reach the top. Women, people of color, those who weren't part of the old boys network. How did they beat the odds? From media firebrand Charlemagne the God to personal finance guru Susie Orman to heavyweight fighting champion Francis Ngannou. Hear their stories in their own words. Listen to Started From the Bottom on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.